look in the eyes of my brother without shedding
Yo, and then those in the back, yo. Hopefully I still didn't break that sound and zoomed in and try to silence me again. What up? Welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. Man, we're so happy that you joined us yet again. Yo, appreciate all our consistent listeners out there, and by all means, we hope that we got some new listeners too. If this is your first time joining us, we are brothers from the middle of the neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. That as you can see it over there, that's where Miller that come together to converse about this thing called life, our experiences in it, how we navigate it, and how we hope to grow and evolve into our best potential, or just talk shit and verify no facts whatsoever in the midst of conversation, but yes, right now it's just me, your host, Josh, and we got Adam on the other side.
What's up, people?
No Aaron today, and Marco is hopefully on his way, but if not, you're gonna get this dynamic duo yet again, and you're gonna feel good about it, you know what I'm saying? All right. No matter where the conversation goes, we pride ourselves in those three principles, and that is being forthright, being vulnerable, and being honest. Right before we hopped on, Adam was telling me about a situation he went through this week that I personally think he should feel great about, but I'm not saying he doesn't. But tell us what happened to you, sir.
All right. So yesterday I was at this Walmart because it was a job related thing. I don't work at Walmart or anything, but we were doing some construction there, and I was just dropping off some material. So yeah. So I just parked in the regular parking lot because I actually needed to go and grab something. So I park, get out the car, and like right after I get out of the car, I'm like approached. And I'm pretty sure we've all been in that situation where like you're kind of just in a parking lot and someone just kind of approaches you out of nowhere and you don't even really know where they came from. That's how this was. So yeah, so I assumed she was gonna ask like for some money. Not that she looked homely or anything, but I just couldn't think of what else she would be asking me. So anyway, she just needed a jump. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I gave her a jump. Her car started. Then I went into the store. Came back out, and then as I was walking to my truck, another guy just kind of appeared in my face, and he's like, "Hey, man, I saw you. I saw you jump the one girl's car. You mind helping me out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was a little bit hesitant because I was like, really? But I was like, sure. I mean, whatever. I was on the clock anyway, so I didn't care. So yeah, so I gave him a jump, and that's that. So I was like, man, what are the odds of me jumping two people on the same day? So then shortly after that, another lady pulls up and she's like, hey, is this, I don't know the address she said. She was like, is this like 101 blah, blah, blah street? And I was like, no, it's this is actually blah, blah, blah street.
Right.
And the only reason I know the address to this Walmart because I go there all the time. So
gotcha.
Constantly type it in my GPS. So I knew exactly where we were at that point in time. So I actually looked, I had the time. So, and she was older. So I actually looked up the address she was looking for on my phone just so I could at least give her a reference. Like,
right.
And I was like, so what you looking for is actually on the other side of the street. And like where this Walmart is, it's like for people that are from the area are familiar with I-94. So I was saying like where you're trying to get to is literally on the other side of the highway. So on the other side of I-94. So, she was able to, like, okay, thank you. So essentially not the moral, but I guess what made the day so interesting, because like within the span of like an hour, I helped like 3 people. And it just felt like I felt like a good person for the day. So yeah, that was my Friday, I guess you could say.
I real shit. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with being a humanitarian out here, just improving the lives of others.
That's it.
I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast before, but when we were all younger, I used to have this kind of mentality that I still kind of carry to this day, that involving karma. And then I think we talked about karma before, but just in case you ain't listened to that old episode, I have this thing where I'm like, we all know every action has an equal and opposite reaction, yada yada yada. And so I'm like, okay, if karma works out in the way, and the way it's often spoken about is you do bad shit's gonna happen to you. That circulation. So in my world, I was like, oh, so that means if I do good shit, then it can help out with the inevitable bad shit that may happen. Yeah. And so I was like, yo, in my world, you helped out those 3 people. That means you got like 3 hardy deposits in that karma bank. Yeah. So some shit go down. You're like, oh, let me make a withdrawal. Yeah. Because and I don't want it to ever sound like I do good stuff, so good stuff can happen. I do good stuff because bad shit will happen, and I want to know, like, okay, there's a bank of shit that, you know, can help me out in those situations. Mm-hmm. What do you feel? Do you feel like you only have that goodness for the day, or do you feel like it like transfers throughout, or like what's your thoughts on like that kind of karma cycle?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really believe in karma.
Okay.
But and as far as like, you know, me doing the things for the day, I'm I'll be honest, this isn't to like brag or anything, but honestly, I do stuff like that all the time. Like typically someone asks me like for money, if I have it, typically I'll give it to them. But and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, you know, in my life, there's been times when I've been a bit more financially better than other times, and like at those times, I would be more likely to give somebody, you know, a couple dollars or something. But yeah, I wish I could help people more often, really. And I often tell Kirsten, like, if I ever stumbled upon some money, like what I would want to do is to help homeless people, because I always feel like I always kind of put myself in their shoes, like how that would feel to like literally not have a home. And then obviously we live where we live, so in the wintertime it gets dangerous. Like people die literally from being outside. Right. So it's just like, man, like what could we do to get these people? I'm not saying like they got to go from that into living into a mansion or anything, but I feel like this country has way too many resources for homelessness to be as big of an issue as it is in certain cities. Because I know like LA obviously has a huge, you know, homeless population. I remember when I was in Austin, Texas.
Marco has entered the chat.
No, where am I? Trying to make it seem like I just stumbled on up here.
Got your Fran's colors on. Marco, so we're talking about Adams and Myths of. He just told us a story about this week he, you know, saved a baby from a fire, and a woman had a heart attack. He gave her CPR.
Man,
and like, yo, my man,
and stopped the mass shooting too.
He stopped. Like dude said, get on the ground. He said, no, you get on the ground. No, he had a couple acts of kindness yesterday. And so we're talking about this conversation kind of about karma. And Adam was saying he doesn't really believe in karma, but he does do good shit all the time. And so continue your thought, Adam.
Yeah. So like for me, I always think about like, and what I was saying was like homelessness. Like if I ever, you know, everyone has a thing that they have a that kind of like, they have like a thing that's near and dear to them. I feel like if everyone, I would hope that, you know, if people stumble upon money and for whatever reason, I would.
It's the good thing they want to do.
Yeah.
Some people that's the environment. Some people that's homelessness. Some people that's the kids.
Yeah.
For you, that's homelessness.
Yeah, because I just feel like it's just got to be tormenting. Because I see people on the street all the time with the signs. It's like, I mean, you have to be, because I feel like you have to reach a point in your life to just publicly I can't get the word out, humiliate yourself. And that's what it is. I mean, maybe they don't look at it like that, but it's kind of that though. I mean, and when I say that, I don't mean it's like people are looking down at them, even though I'm sure somebody is somewhere. But I mean, you're putting yourself in a position like you're publicly saying I don't have anything, and like, dang, that's like, it just seems it's a little heartbreaking, honestly.
I'm with you on that. I don't know that I would necessarily consider it, in regardless of whether or not I do or don't. It's not my experience that is humiliating, or that they're putting themselves through a humiliation. For, because too often the case is either mental illness and lack of care and resources and funds to actually do anything about that. And I've had some personal experiences. I remember when I first came to the city, there used to be this cat in a wheelchair that I would give money like every day. And then one day I was walking past the alley behind the studio at the time, and I saw a dude drive a Lincoln. And I was like, wait a minute, he didn't have legs. Like, it wasn't like he was missing one, he was missing both legs, but he was driving away in a Lincoln, and I was very confused. I know it was him. But then I think about situations like back when Aaron was working at Original Penguin, there was this woman that used to be by the store that he had like a whole ass friendship with. And so
sounds like Aaron.
It sounds like Aaron. Like he would just be over there having full conversations with her. I think I remember him charging her phone for her and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's such a gambit of experiences that people are going through that I don't necessarily know that you can always define it as a self-inflicted humiliation. But it is a heartbreaking situation literally every time.
Yeah. So let me rephrase that. I feel like if I was in that situation, it would be humiliating to me. Like, because it's like, like people want to be able to pay their bill. Like people want to be able to do for themselves.
Absolutely.
And like you're saying, like a lot of times, people are just incapable because of their mental scenario. Like if you have schizophrenia and it goes unmanaged, you probably aren't going to, especially if it's a severe case of schizophrenia,
right?
Because I mean, you can't function with that.
You can't work in customer service with that.
Yeah. And like I said, there's people that have it where it's not severe and they're taking medication and they can operate in life. They're functional, but of course we know, and of course Hollywood always blows it up. When they're telling a story about somebody, they always go son of Sam. It's like the extreme.
It's hyperbolic, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's a disorder I would never want to even come close to having. Just from what I know about it, it's like your mind is just working against you at all times. Like it's crazy.
So Marco, I'm curious to know if you have one of these kind of subject matters that you feel like if you came into money, what would you contribute? But first I want to ask, what are your thoughts on karma? Like, do you believe in the concept of karma? Do you think it only works negatively? Is there positive karma?
I would say in the past, I would believe, I believe in it in a sense, and I'll explain it because I'm not sure if karma is like a real force that like enforces it when it's time to keep it balanced and stuff like that. But I kind of believe that it's something that's in you that happens in you. You reward yourself like when you do something good, or something for others. It has a direct effect on your mental, like it is rewarding. So I don't think we necessarily have to call it karma. I mean, you could call it karma,
yeah, sure,
or whatever, but like I think it's something there. And when you feed into negativity or you take the route that's deceptive or something like that, like it is going to affect you because people gonna not trust you now. And like in terms of like how people say energy, when you put that energy in, basically it is kind of like that. It's like it's like you continuing a cycle, you know. So
Yeah.
in a sense, I do believe in karma.
It sounds like if I can interpret, if you give me the space to interpret what you're saying, it sounds like it sounds like you're saying you don't necessarily believe in karma as like a cosmic reaction as it is like a just an eventual, however that person, like a domino effect, if you will, but not necessarily like, oh yeah, the universe is going to make sure it takes vengeance upon you or repays you.
I just think that when we explain it that way, like mystical, people can't grasp it. But if you explain it like regular life terms, like, oh, like it kind of does exist, you know. People will get turned off by a certain lingo, you know. Yeah. And I think that just the word karma itself has got a reputation of like, oh, that's some like mystical, like wishy-washy stuff. But
I mean, there's definitely connotations that kind of come with the concept of karma. But I think, yeah, person to person, it always is a thing of how you explain to them, or if you go like, hey man, if you kick a baby, like, and that baby survives, that baby is coming to get you. Like it's like there was the stars didn't have to align for that shit. Like that baby is taking vengeance on you as soon as it like gets old enough.
What if that baby like it turns out to be violent and then somehow does have some type of effect on your life?
That's what I'm saying. That baby grows up to be John Wick, and like he's like yeah. Who hurt you? And all he can see is like himself crying in the mirror with like that lump from your foot.
Yeah, don't let that baby have what is it, a dog? They killed his dog, right?
They killed his dog. Right?
Don't let that baby have a dog. Man.
You know, this actually makes me think of a situation, if you want to call it karma, since we're talking about it. But there's a man by the name of Aaron Rodgers. That he was actually John Wick for Halloween, which that's what jogged my memory. And if I remember correctly, over the off season, he was like, I don't want to be on the Packers anymore. I don't like the way they're doing things. And he was making this big fuss. And he was like, you know, just not coming to training camp. He was holding out. He was, you know, posting pictures of him and his new fiance in Hawaii and having a good time. You know, and then fast forward some months, and I'm smirking because this situation makes me happy. Not that he got COVID. I would never be happy about that, but more so
as a Bears fan.
But it's deeper than that. More so him lying.
It's multi-layered.
Yeah, him lying, saying that he was immunized to throw people like. I don't know if you guys are completely familiar with the situation, but
yes, but for people who aren't, please.
Okay, so in August, he was at a press conference, like, you know, they always do. And one of the reporters said, hey, Aaron, are you vaccinated? And what are your thoughts on the vaccination? He said, yeah, I'm immunized. And then he started using all this verbiage saying like, yeah, we have some guys that aren't vaccinated. And, you know, I'm not going to judge those guys. And so he was really making it sound like he's vaccinated and he's not going to judge the guys who aren't. And he's, you know, but then fast forward some months, he contracts COVID-19. And then from that, you know, the NFL has certain rules. So like if you're unvaccinated, you have to have 2 negative tests within 24 hours to be able to play the following week. But with Aaron, they instantly were like, okay, you're out for 10 days. So if you're unvaccinated, the 2 test thing doesn't matter. You're automatically out for 10 days. Doesn't matter. Right. So when that news broke, everyone was like, wait a minute, we thought he was vaccinated. Why doesn't he get the 2 tests leeway? Then that's when it broke. Oh, he's not vaccinated, even though he told us he was. So now he can't play. So now he's shedding all this negative light on himself and his team. And it just makes me think like, man, you created that big fuss over the offseason. And here you are, you know, potentially, you know, who knows what the NFL is going to do, but potentially ruining your team's season. So it just kind of like made me think of the whole karma thing where it's like, you know, and doesn't, and to add to it, you know, a few weeks ago when they played the Bears, of course, there was this clip that went viral of him screaming he still owns the Bears. And it's like, it kind of just makes me laugh. that he's brought this situation on his team, and really unnecessarily, because the fact is, the NFL, they don't have a mandate. Like, you don't have to be vaccinated. And all he had to say was, no, I'm not. And everyone was like, okay. And everybody would have moved on, and it would have been, it's not
He's
like
trying to keep that image. Like, that's messed up. Like, he didn't even have to do that.
Exactly. He could, because there's other guys, Kirk Cousins and Cole Beasley. There's other players that publicly said, I'm not going to give it. Carson Wentz, that publicly said, I'm not going to get vaccinated. And everyone was like, okay, cool. And as long as you're following the protocol, you got to wear your mask at certain times. And I don't know all the rules, but there's a set of rules for unvaccinated players, and there's a set of rules for vaccinated players. Aaron Rodgers has been moving about as
Like
if he's vaccinated. And according to him, though, he said that I followed all of the protocols except with the media. Like, well, that's not following all the protocols, then, is it?
No, it's not.
And the
then why are you lying? You most likely haven't.
Yeah. And it's just I'm not gonna drag this on, but it's just a very amusing situation. And like, because there was teams last year that broke protocol. They lost draft picks. They were fined $500,000. So and Aaron Rodgers is one of the biggest names in sports. So I'm curious to know what the NFL is going to do, if they do anything. Now, he's going to miss this week because he has COVID, so he can't play regardless. But I'm curious to see if they're going to do anything, because in my opinion, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan of the team that is his arch rival, but I'm trying to be objective. But based on what they've done to other teams, and based on what he did and their Green Bay Packers did, because they knew he wasn't vaccinated, yet he was still at the press conferences in person when he was supposed to be doing it via Zoom without a mask on. So to me, if you're breaking protocol on a weekly basis, to me that you should be suspended. I mean, like, I don't, because they tried to suspend Cam Newton back in the
right. That's what I heard.
Couple months ago. I think they'll do something. I don't think he's gonna get out of it.
Yeah. I think they will too. I just wonder what it would actually be, because it's not just
whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, because it's not just Aaron though. That's the thing. Like, it's the whole team. Like,
right.
He even said, because he always goes on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's just a sports podcast. Pat McAfee, he was a kicker for the Colts, right? Yeah. So, and he's a pretty popular.
He was good.
Yeah, he was. And he has a fairly popular really popular podcast, actually. And Aaron goes on pretty much every week. He's a weekly voice on that show. And he went on there, and really, I don't think he should have, because some of the stuff he's saying kind of makes it worse, honestly. Because when he said, yeah, everyone knew about it, like, that doesn't make your team look good. So yeah, it's just interesting. And I posted this on Facebook the other day. Like, this season in general has just been like the most entertaining season that I've seen, because you got the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. You got, this is a super tragic thing, but there was a guy from the Raiders that drunkenly killed somebody in a car accident.
Oh shit.
So of course won't be playing anymore. There's just a lot in the OBJ thing. Odell Beckham Jr. His dad posted this video of essentially all the times that Odell Beckham was open for a pass and Baker Mayfield didn't throw him the ball. It's like an 11-minute video that essentially got Odell Beckham released from the team. I mean, that I'm not gonna say that singular thing. It was probably it was build up to that. I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
He does miss a lot of open receivers.
Yeah, like, for me, like, if I'm the coach, if I'm the staff, I would look at that video like, I mean, this is kind of an issue though.
Well, they should. You know how much video they watch?
They should know. Yeah,
I'm sure there's no video that they haven't seen already.
That's true. That's very. Oh yeah, that's very true. And but what's crazy, I heard that, and then we could get back on subject because
it's all good.
But but the thing is, though, there's reports that he doesn't even get passes in practice. Like he doesn't even get throwing the ball in practice. So it's like, to me, that sounds more like a quarterback thing than an OBJ thing. I don't think OBJ is what he was in 2014, but he can still. I refuse to believe that the man can't still play. I just don't believe that.
Has he been picked up since he got dropped?
No, he just got cut Friday. Well, yesterday, which was actually his birthday.
He will be.
Damn.
Yeah, but he wanted to leave though, so that was probably a gift to him. So, and he's still gonna get it, and he's still gonna get paid, I think, too, because he had like a guaranteed X amount, like $8 million. So,
wow,
he's probably actually chilling.
Shit. Okay. Word. I know nothing about. I know these names, and I know most of their faces. I don't know anything about what's going on in the NFL, so I appreciate the education.
It's a
he like wore like $1 million watch and jewelry, like his first game. Like, are you coming to like play? Like you about to diamonds about to be popping out of your stuff? Like,
yeah.
But to jump back to the previous question, Marco, is there any humanitarian, like if you came into some money, is there any act of humanitarianism that you feel like you definitely want to go toward?
Well, humanitarian. Well, I would either not either. I could do both. I can help out the hunger problem in some areas. That's what one of the things, like half would go to that. And the other half would probably be like some type of rehabilitation center. But I haven't really decided what type, but like something towards that effort, like either for drugs or people who come from homes that were violent or things like that. Definitely those two is something that like when I see stuff like people who've been messed up from like being a product of their household that was violent or some crazy thing happened. It seemed like they just dealt cards like that is impossible almost for them to bounce back from. So I think if we focus on that a little bit more in our communities, like just people who you know or whatever that you see, like that could actually, benefit from something like that. It would be nice to see that there's a working thing in our community that would take people in like that. And the food thing, obviously, like, because for one, most of our poverty neighborhoods are food deserts.
Food deserts,
like, we all know that. Like, you go to the corner stores and things that can actually be like small grocery stores or markets or whatever, is nothing but crap in there. Like, you cannot get a vegetable, you cannot get a fruit.
Or it's mad GMO, everything.
Sometimes it may be a banana in the gas station or something like that. But it's crazy.
But food even that, like,
definitely rests on every corner.
I remember having to go to a like a Save More or something like that, and not trying to disrespect, hood food stores, but
it's terrible.
Going,
them stores are terrible. Like, if everything not expired, like the product is like a triple knockoff. Like, it's a knockoff of a knockoff.
Got fruit cylinders.
They don't even try.
But what was it? I remember I went in there so I could have some fruit for the next day. So I bought some bananas. And then I ended up running late. I ran out of the house and I didn't take the fruit with me the next day. And so I was like, okay, it's cool. I'll just take them with me the day after. I picked them up the day after, opened the plastic bag that they were in, and they were covered in maggots.
Wow, that's crazy. After one day, that's
that's I'm like, it breaks my heart with stuff like that, and that's the main grocery store around here for like at least 15 blocks of the area that I was in anyway. At the time of night that I was out. But yeah, I can completely get behind all of that, and I think that's great. I think on my end, one would be, shoot, I was just thinking about it. What was it? I definitely support the food one. I support all of it. I'm not I act like I'm we can cut out this dead space. But
I was gonna say like arts. I mean, I know that's not like
I want to say the good one first, the one that like actually the one that helps more people.
Yeah. That's why I was like, that's not like people die. I mean, it can help a lot of people, but
it's not like life or death.
It's not like helping the arts is one of those things. Like that's a given, and I was definitely going to say that of not only contributing to, because I personally I hate the whole, every time someone talks about putting money toward the arts, it's always towards kids. Like there ain't adults out here doing the shit.
That's true. That's true.
Now, granted, I also am an advocate of like I hate that every time they take funding out of schools, the first thing they do is cut the arts programs. And so that's a given. So we'll put that in there, put a pin in it. Yes, money is definitely going to artistic programs that I really want to be able to fund. I want to fund companies so that they can feed their artists, their staff, and whatever education programs that they have.
Mm-hmm. No, I was agreeing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because a lot of times, if like, let's say it's a dance company, people will talk about the dance as if the staff didn't have to do all of that work to get them in their theater and get everything up to the show and get butts in those seats and all of that kind of stuff. And the education program that's raising that next generation of young artists. But the other side of that being, I really want to help people in words, it's right there. I really want to help people in nationally impoverished areas. So some of your sub-Saharan, some of your African, some of your South Asian countries, so that they can increase their education and build up the infrastructure in those areas to be able to support the mass populations that they have, and without the resources that they should also have.
Yeah.
And so that thing of like, whether that be, hey, let's get you to spend some time earning money and working in more affluent countries, so that when you go back to your country, it helps to build the infrastructure and resources where you are. And even if it was talking about smaller scale, I want to be able to, I want to bring agriculture to hoods.
Yeah, that'd be cool. They do a good job of that in Detroit. Detroit has a lot of like urban farming,
urban gardens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool.
Just want to bring more mass agriculture to.
This will be a great area for that, man. With all the like in Detroit, like how they have the houses that they knock down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the areas like you can have a house and then it'll be a patch of grass that look like it used to be a house there.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot of those areas. So
yeah, they be farming across from the original school or high school Emerson.
Oh yeah.
Emerson. They got like a little farm over there. I think they got one on Broadway too. Obviously they're both smaller, but the one across from the school is actually, I think they got animals over there too, like farm animals. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because Kirsten, she was gonna actually interview them, but it just kind of fell through. But But yeah, I know they're trying. It's just
I got a stupid
know.
question. When you hear about I want to say stupid, I mean ignorant because I don't know, and this is probably something for the listeners, unless y'all know. You hear about those situations in like let's say it's some East African country, this small township in this village. They're like, oh, that village got a goat last year, and they're like their village's equity jumped like tenfold because now they have a sense of wealth because they got three goats. And I was like, what does that mean for your like your village's infrastructure? And like, oh, we got those goats now, so like, is that a thing of just like, oh, we got milk, we got if y'all eat those goats, like, does it go away? Like, I do wonder that because I don't know.
I think it probably like go ahead.
No, I don't know. I was saying
it probably like buys them time to do things other than figure out how they're gonna eat, you know. As I mean, other than just the obvious like milk, you know, and that they don't have to go find anything, or now they may be able to focus on building up their house. I don't know.
You know, that's yeah. I was always
I don't know what else. I don't know what else they have to do. So like,
yeah, I don't know what else goats provide. Yeah, obviously I don't know what else a goat can provide except milk. Now, if it's like chickens, you get eggs
blankets and stuff.
Like, oh yeah.
Oh, the fur. Oh yeah. Because like, you know, you hear about like that's bargaining chips or not like or wedding gifts. They're like, oh yeah, I'll let you marry my daughter for 2 chickens, 3 goats, and I don't know, like 1 piece of gold.
Well, yeah, I know back in the day, like having so many animals and whatever cattle was like a status,
a sign of wealth. Yeah.
Which
I get that then, but I'm just curious as to how that can still work today. Granted, I know there's areas where, you know, like technology and all of that kind of stuff, it doesn't necessarily exist in those areas. I'm just curious about it because I don't know it and I don't feel like Googling. So, you know, hey listeners, educate me. So Marco, can you recall a time where has there been anything in more recent times where you're like, oh wow, this random spurt of positive helpings to other people occurred?
Actually, the other day I was driving Uber, and I was eating because did something happen with somebody's food where I was eating their food or something? No, but I bought some food because sometimes it is situations like that where I just get free food. But I had
oh, I thought you were saying this situations like, you know, sometimes I'll be eating some of my Uber Eats deliveries.
No, not on purpose or not, you know. not just directly. It had to be something that went wrong for me to get it, basically. But I gave some guys some. Well, it was 2 guys at like a 7-Eleven, and they was like asking me for stuff. I'm like, I just have this food, and I like gave them half of my food, and I think they really was trying to get money for liquor,
of
obviously. Course. But one of them was like, nah, I don't want it. He just walked away. And I mean
that. I was gonna say, go ahead.
The other one appreciated, so it made me feel good. But
I did have one of those situations really too, like you try to get somebody a burger and they're like, "Does this have onions on it?" Sorry, man, I don't eat onions. And you're like, "Yo, just take them off." Like, what are you doing?
Like, you're not homeless. Then you're, you know.
Yeah, that's why I always like had this like debate within myself though. Like, I have to judge if they really homeless
You don't have to.
I'm saying like that's just the process my mind goes through.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm joking.
Because dude had like a true religion, like jogger pants on. And we just like got into a discussion about like who has better wings. Discussion. And I'm like, you like really a foodie out here, like breaking down the wings and stuff. But
maybe he hadn't been homeless for that long, and so like
you knew.
You knew out here in these streets.
Yeah. The other dude was seasoned. He was like, I don't want that
damn. A veteran. The one dude's a rookie. Another dude's a 5-year vet.
He was like, what is you doing? We could get food all day.
That kind of brings up slightly another point that Adam was making about him and Kirsten, his wife, anyone that doesn't know, Abeo, were helping out a person, and because they helped out this person, I'm going to paraphrase this story for the sake of time, I'm sorry, was helping out this person, and so then in the midst of helping them out, it made them get back to their car late, and their parking had lapsed, and so they ended up getting a ticket. And so has there been a time where you were doing something kind and then you ended up suffering a consequence for it?
Man, I'm sure. I'm trying to think of one though.
Yeah, that's a very specific.
Well, I guess even if we weren't talking about the specific event itself, what is usually your reaction to said consequence? What do you think your reaction usually is anyway? Like, are you like, man, I shouldn't have helped that bitch? Or are you like, or are you more so in a space of like, I chalk it up because, shit happens and at least I feel good about helping that person or whatever.
Yeah, the latter. Usually that, because sometimes I'll try to be like, man, I'm not doing this type of thing no more. Like, but I don't hold that grudge, So a lot of times I end up just, helping out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody asks for a favor, I'm most likely going to do it. Like, unless I just feel like I'm being taken advantage of, but whatever. I won't like say I'm never helping somebody out again. It depends on the situation though. Like,
I was like, that's extreme.
Yeah. Cause man. Yeah, because I kind of got another situation like that when this happened. Man, I wasn't even in the military yet, so I mean, maybe 2008, 2009. But I gave a dude a ride, and he was like, "Hey, man, can you take me to?" What did he say? Was it? I want to say it was Lakeshore Dunes, like Lakeshore Dunes Apartments. And at the time, I had picked them up. I was driving on Grand Boulevard, going back to my house, like my parents' house.
Okay.
And this was actually really late or early, depending on how you want to look at it. It was like 3:00 in the morning, actually. And but this dude, he looked so frantic. It was like, man, this dude looked like he really needs some help. So that's the only reason why I stopped. I would just kept going. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I took him there, and then when we got there, he was like, can you wait here? For a minute, I'm just gonna grab something. And then I was like, I hesitated. I was like, yeah, man, go ahead. Then he went and got the thing. He came back. Then we went to the other location, which is also in Miller. And he said, hey, I'm just go grab something real quick. Man, you mind waiting? I was like, yeah, that's fine. Then as soon as he got out the truck, I just pulled off. I'm about to be driving around.
Now I gotta say, it's a good thing that you are a grown man and a relatively large Negro, because That sounds like a situation in which a person is usually murdered.
Yeah.
So
there was definitely some moments where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. But I remember I had a screwdriver in my truck. I remember this, and I was like slowly like creeping my hand to the like over there. Like it was like in the door, like you know how the door has like little not pouches, but it's like a little place of storage. You know, you can store stuff in the door. And that's where it was. So I'm like kind of like slowly creeping my hand over there, like just in case. You know, it was I mean, I was sure nothing was gonna happen, but looking back, I'm like, dang, that was that wasn't a good idea. Because you know, I listened to this this podcast. It's a true crime podcast called Crime Junkies. And it's just like you just hear stories kind of like that all the time, where like a person just they're not even thinking, they're just living their life, and then they end up in a terrible situation and nobody ever sees them again. It's like, dang. So I would never do that today though.
How old were you when you did this?
Probably 19. I was probably 18 or 19.
Okay. Yeah. You were bright eyed and bushy tail.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that you guys are a good judge of like character? Like when you like first impression type?
I do.
Absolutely. To this day, I've never been wrong.
When you have a prejudice about somebody, is usually on point.
Oh yeah. If I feel like you're shit, most likely you are. And then it always shows up. Like, especially when I was younger and peopling a lot more than I do currently, we could be talking for like 5 minutes, if that. And at the end of that conversation, I'll probably, if I went like, nah, or you know, it was a situation where old ballet teacher asked me to do this project, and then I met the dude that was supposedly her funder, like her sponsor, and we met him, and I was like, yo, Vicky, this ain't the dude. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, yo, dude is sketch, and I'm just telling you, dude ain't right. And so then I ended up having to lead the project because I couldn't commit to the rehearsal schedule. 3 weeks later, dude pulled all his money out of the project, and then she ended up not being able to do it.
Dang. That's crazy.
And in one thing that he pulled all his money out of it, he told her he could get money for her that he couldn't. And so he swindled her into the situation in the first place. And so it was the thing of, I was like, yeah, if I see your shit, I have no qualms or questions about it.
You should be a detective. Oh man.
How about y'all?
I would say yeah. I would say probably at that part of my life, probably no. But I think so. I think now, because I think and honestly, I couldn't even say why, like what and how it developed per se. But I think I am. Maybe I'm not, but I think I am a good judge of character, or maybe not even character. But I think a lot of times I can, at least, maybe I can't say whether they're a good or bad, and whatever that means per person. But sometimes I can just at least be like, okay, I'm not gonna like this person, or we're not gonna mesh. Well, I could pretty much sense that pretty much immediately. Yeah. So yeah, I would give myself an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would probably give myself something around that too. I think I'm pretty good at it. What's crazy is last night, I helped these two dudes that was at like the pilot or whatever, get back to their car. And I feel like most people wouldn't have they weren't. They were telling me like they were there like 2 hours and nobody helped them get back to their car, and like they had like their gas with them. And I'm like, I like through talking to them, like just seeing how they move and how they look at you and things, like it's signs that'll tell you like, okay, this person trying to scam you, or this person got an ulterior motive, and I felt like I could trust them, and I helped them out, and they were like super happy. Now they did say that they would give me some money, and that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
But it wasn't that far. It was like literally 2 or 3 minutes away, so I wasn't tripping about it. But they was like some Chicago dudes, like most people probably wouldn't have, or didn't help them. So
now I will say, I suck with. Oh shit! Did I cut you off, Adam?
Yeah, but you're good though. It's
okay.
Good.
I will say, I have faltered if I have some sort of like prior relationship with you that didn't indicate any of those things. Because there was a situation where I got swindled into I feel like I said swindled a lot this episode. I got coerced into a friend at the time kind of tricking me in sorts to helping them get crystal meth. and yeah, I should have known from the situation of how they set it up to go, what? Like we were out drinking and whatnot, and they were like, hey, can you take me to my friend's house because she needs to borrow my phone? And I was like, that's not a thing people do. Yeah. No one's like, hey, let me borrow your phone for a couple of days. Like that's not a thing. But I was in the middle of nowhere, so I was like, okay, maybe it's just maybe I'm not familiar with these kind of practices. And so then we drive up, and it's at like it's at a motel, and I was like, this doesn't seem right at all. They were like, I'm gonna go in real quick, I'll be right back. Like 5-10 minutes pass, they come back out and like, hey, would you mind coming in for a little bit? And I was like, yes. It's like 12:30. I was like, I want to go home. I'm tired. And they were like, please, could just come in for a little bit. And I go in, and I'm greeted by a young pink woman. Huh? Jesse. Greeted by this little white woman who clearly had meth teeth, and me just going, your teeth are really fucked up. But I had never met someone with legitimate meth teeth, so I didn't know, like off rip. Yeah. And the largest fucking pit bulls I've ever seen in my life. Those were full-blown bouncers. And mind you, this is a motel room, so it's the size of like a kitchen in a studio apartment. Yeah. And they had these 2 big ass dogs in here, and everything in me is going, this seems like a drug den. Am I tripping? It's just and then it was real trap house. I get in there and I'm sitting there, and then next thing you know, I hear like crunch, crunch, crunch behind me, and I'm playing the game on my phone. I was like, the nigga in me says, "Don't look up." just don't pay any mind. I hear like a big ass snort, and so then Al, like a couple minutes later, they go, okay, I'm ready to go, and I was like, yo, you just fucking bring me over here so you could get meth? And they go, yeah, that's exactly what just happened. And then I proceeded to cuss them out, take them home, and I cussed them out for like the next 3 days too. But
so was this in, because I know you spent some time out west, was this one of your Western
yes, it is. Wyoming.
It sounds like it.
I just keep having like Breaking Bad scenes flash in my head.
Yeah. Man, really good story.
Yeah, it's just all of those things, and especially because they were black. And I was like, black people don't do this. What are you doing? And I know that's not the real stereotype, but meth is not a black drug, and I stand by it. We're informally honest, in case you didn't see the title.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought, like when you were describing the story, like, all these are white people. I just assumed they were.
Well, the person they got it from was white, but they were black. Now they're black and from there, and so yeah. But yeah, so I was like, it was all those things. So I have been wrong, but I'm not wrong with new people.
I don't know anybody could try meth, honestly. Just knowing what's in it. Like or just knowing what it. We've seen the pictures. Everybody's seen the pictures of people with the scars on their face and the teeth, like you're saying. It's like, I'm not gonna try anything that could lead to that.
Which apparently that's a thing too. Is the next time I saw them, they had like these random cuts on their body, and I was like, "Yo, well, like what is that?" And they were saying like, what happens is, especially if you snort it, which I did not know was an applicable way to do it, it recrystallizes in you, and so it cuts you from the inside out.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know that. I heard that like at least the scars on their face, I guess. I hear that it makes you feel like there's like something crawling on you, so you just pick your
scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrible substance.
Terrible. Like I don't get the benefit. Like that must be an amazing high, because I don't get why anyone would do it.
Right. The side effects is too much.
Yeah.
Like that's way past munchies.
Yeah, like, right. I think the highest I would go is probably LSD. It's probably the craziest thing.
I feel like maybe at some point I might try what's the not peyote? What's the other shit? Ayahuasca.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would try that too.
I was about to say ashwagandha.
It's not like a tea or like a.
I think it's that. Isn't that the shit that people would that went viral on TikTok because they thought it was another kind of dick pill?
Oh, I know Kirsten makes tea out of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure she does.
Would y'all do the limitless pill just to get some stuff done real quick?
I would do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would do the limitless pill. Oh, but no. Yeah, I don't get the whole meth thing. I never have, and yeah. But I would try it. I would do the ayahuasca if I got if I know it's a good setup, we got like a capable shaman and all of that shit. Yeah, I would definitely do ayahuasca.
Yeah, I hear that everyone that does it, they see the same thing or something along those lines. It's like
they have some kind of like transformative experience.
Yeah, it's like they see like I think was it Joe? No, it was Neil Brennan.
Neil Brennan. Yeah, he's not an atheist anymore.
Yeah, and I was like, that's fascinating. That's super fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know he was a very diehard atheist. Like as long as I knew, the first time I heard him say it, he continuously used to say that he was an atheist. So I'm like,
right.
So now it's got me super curious.
And I'm even more curious because apparently the person who got him into ayahuasca was Will Smith.
Oh. I can see that actually. Not them having a relationship, but him just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any hallucinogens y'all would try?
It's just mushrooms. I know Mark said you done it before.
Oh right.
What other is LSD? That's not considered a how whatever.
It's not.
I thought so.
I thought it was accent. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mushrooms, LSD, acid, and ayahuasca and peyote are all hallucinogens to my knowledge. I could be wrong about that, but to my knowledge, they're all over more.
Okay. Yeah, I would pretty much try all those. Pretty much anything that's natural. I would not that I don't think LSD is natural. Is it?
No.
Yeah.
I want to say LSD and acid are man-made.
Okay.
But
yeah, but from it. It's still from chemicals that are natural. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just
like it's not like meth where they're putting like acid from batteries in there.
Right. Yeah. I think the process doesn't necessarily dilute it that much from its natural state as it does with like a meth or
crack.
I don't know. Crack. Not cocaine, not to be mixed up with cocaine. But word. Okay. So if we got any pushers out there who want to get us any of these drugs, then hit us up at informedlyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. And if this is any kind of government official, being one of the 19 viewers, thank you. And this was never said.
You just
played. We appreciate y'all, fellas. Any last thoughts?
I don't really have none.
Nope. I'm gonna just say what I always say: be safe. And when I say that, I mean that generally. I say that just whether it's just being alert in your surroundings, whether it's COVID protection, just the whole thing. That's it.
And
I'm
I'm
creeps out there.
Much like a commercial in 2002, we're gonna wrap it up. And so
BET.
And like I said, informally honest podcast at gmail.com. You can hit us up on our Instagram at informally honest and Twitter on informally_HP. We appreciate y'all. We love you. Every conversation you have, every connection you make, and every relationship that you endure and involve yourself in, we encourage, we implore, and we empower you to always be forthright, vulnerable, and most of all, honest. That was a good one. I should really write that shit down. All right, y'all.
Every step I take,
Can't look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.